I don't know how often I've seen it. Every morning in school, of course.
Yeah, it's always a joy to get somebody. Anyway. Open the meeting to the public. Anybody wishing to address the board may do so. At this time, you'll have a chance at the end of the meeting if you don't want to do it now.
Well, I might as well, I don't see anybody else here. Well, last time, I was just at the town board meeting, as John knows, and there were people there, so I decided to let them go ahead of me, and it was 25 minutes later, they had a problem right down
You
here.
better jump on it if I were you.
Yeah, that was an interesting start. I've abrogated my responsibility in the past, but it's usually been 3, 4, 5 minutes.
He's the only one that can jump ahead of you.
I know. You gonna report to them on that or not?
No, go Harry, go.
You sure? All right. Just a couple things. The sales tax issue, which you probably already know, again, does not look good in terms of our projections for next year. In terms of any extra, I mean, obviously, when I served in village government and town government, it was always great at the end of the year. It's like a Christmas present. You know, that extra money always arrived from the county. Not happening, and probably not happening again next year. The tax cap issue has come up, and I don't know whether, does that affect you at all, George, in the village?
You know, I just got an email today from the conference of mayors. They have this committee of whatever it is, and apparently that's an issue that they're pushing very much.
Yeah. Well, you know, I just have a quick comment. It sounds great, but the problem with the state is that if they put mandates on and they give you a property tax cap, then where are you? What can you possibly get done? Because you're in a situation where you have to, of the discretionary spending at the county level, 90% of it is state mandated. So we have a 10% of all the money we spend at the county, 10% of it is discretionary. The rest of it is mandated. So if they would agree not to put any more mandates on, we certainly could go.
I think that's a big issue here.
And it's a huge issue.
Yeah.
And
I got a meeting tomorrow with Eddie Little, that's top of my list.
wow.
There's several mandates that are absolutely useless.
Yeah.
It just burdens local government.
Wow. And of course, it makes them look better and us look worse at the lowest level. That's the whole problem with that.
Well, the other thing is, you know, you go down, you know the Wicks law. I have complained about that for years.
Yeah.
And the answer is, well, you know, if the unions want this, oh, I ain't gonna tell you my response to that. You know,
I know.
damn, why should we cater to unions, you know, the general public, the taxing public, to cater to a union, to pay prevailing wages, to pay all this stuff? It's gotta stop.
Right. And I think there's also a move afoot to allow local municipalities to freeze wages, even in a contractual situation, which has another set of issues with it, but it's something that may be coming around the corner. But in any event, just so you understand the property tax thing, if anybody in county government will tell you they're in favor of it as long as, and that's a big as long as, because for us, all they have to do is change the Medicaid formula by 2%, costs us $7 million. Oh, that's not really a new mandate. We're not mandating anything. No, but you're paying us 2% less than you paid us last year. The mandate is still there for the Medicaid, and we have to pay it. So we have to make it up in property taxes. So, you know, it's smoke and mirrors. But anyway, okay, I won't. Let me just talk quickly about a revenue enhancer, two of them actually. One is the airport parking. We've decided to go down that road. You probably read about it. It'll be $5 a day for short term. And the first couple hours will be free, but people will no longer be able to park their cars there during family reunions and leave them there all weekend and drive them away. That will not happen. $3 for long term. And one is going to be credit card only, that's the long term, and the other one will be cash. And we're going to start it in February. The revenues, I mean, if we do 500 cars a day, which is what we've been averaging and higher, we're going to see considerable revenue. $300,000-$400,000. So what we don't want to do is kill the golden cow of Montreal and getting them down here and so on. But what they're paying at Dorval and Mirabel is astronomical compared to those fees, so, but it was always nice to be able to say initially, gee, you get out and fly out of Plattsburgh and it's free. You know, the park, you can leave it there, and a lot of them do. They leave it there for 3 months, but even at $3 a day for 3 months, we're not talking about a tremendous amount of money. And if you can afford to leave whatever it is you're leaving for 3 months up in Montreal, you can afford $3 a day to park your car. So I don't think it'll be, the bottom line is, I don't think it'll be a deterrent. I was wondering about feedback on the voting machines. You may or may not know that, George, you created a firestorm in the county by asking that the voting machines in Rouses Point be delivered to the town, which they were. And they were sitting out on a truck. I don't know where they still are. Are they still out in the truck?
Yep.
They haven't been moved inside?
We're covered.
Okay, they're coming, okay. So, and now every other county legislator is wondering, what are they gonna do with their machines? So again, George, you were on the forefront of getting an issue to the county level, which, and if you think you can, the Board of Elections, of all of the agencies that I've dealt with, and I know there's a Democrat in there and a Republican, but getting an answer out of those people in terms of this is unbelievable. So for now, Larry is stuck with them, and we'll see what happens.
Well, we were always told that they belonged to the town, they didn't belong to us.
Well, believe it or not, the town has a board of, or a invoice that says they bought one of them, but apparently the state passed legislation that took over, so we actually own them, but we don't want them. Let me put it another way. The legislators don't want them. I don't know what, I mean, Al Rasco will have a fit if we end up storing those things out at his highway department, so I think Larry's
You
gonna
can't use them,
Huh?
you can't use
You
them.
can use them for school board elections for 2 more years, and
How come they get exempt?
I wish I could answer that.
Because, you know why? We've been going round and round with the board of elections. It's gonna cost us, if we go with those machines to use for the village elections, it's gonna cost us about $2,000 plus to put on an election that we put on for $200.
Yeah,
And as far as I'm concerned, if we'd have kept 2 of those machines and said they were Ross's Point and used them, because there's nothing wrong with them.
I know.
But we can't, because of the lovely state of New York and the federal government.
No, it's actually the state of Florida, the federal government, and then back, yes, that's the chronology of events. But yes, you're
You
right.
know, the sad thing is, they make these new rules and regulations, and we gotta rent the machines from the county. My tax dollars bought them, you know?
We're still working on the issue of village elections and how that's gonna fit
Well,
in. We are making the towns whole from what we had told them to budget versus what we're charging them. We're only gonna do that for 1 year. The villages are in a separate category, and I hope to have an answer for you in early January, George, on
Well,
that.
here's the thing, it got my dander up. And I think rightly so. So they use this room and that other room free.
Yeah.
Well, it could be $500 a day. We gotta recruit the funds somewhere.
Yeah, I'm just writing it down, George,
I
so I
don't
don't forget. And that was $500 a day you wanted?
Per room.
Per- Okay, he wants to talk to our senator.
This is-
$500. Sorry, I know. All right, so
That ought to
that's $1,000 a day.
Yeah,
Okay.
and for 2 days or 3 days, well,
What
we
you
might
want
make
to
a.
do, George, is break even, right?
That's
Yeah,
right.
I got the point, okay,
Yeah.
we got it. All right, I'm gonna move on. Oh, I did want to speak, I know you're doing the firefighter thing, is it next month or early?
Yeah, we gotta authorize
Yeah,
tonight to go out to public hearing.
okay. Everybody, I'm just not sure about the school board. I made the presentation. I worked on a PowerPoint. I got good questions, although in one case, there was an individual who thought I was trying to mandate the number of calls that a fireman had to make in order to be eligible for the 10% reduction, which of course, I was taking county averages given to me by Eric Day and given to me by the different departments and not dealing with the issue of trying to mandate to anybody. Each department would set something. The only question that concerned me a little bit, and I've said this publicly already, but somebody on the school board asked me if they get in, can they get back out again? And I wasn't sure. I said, well, you probably have to hold another public hearing and go through the process of, I don't know why someone would do that. But anyway, the cost to the school board, which of course, without the school board, it doesn't work for firemen, so we have to have the school board. And they're going to discuss it, the cost was $14,000. But if you spread that out over a $26 million budget, it's not even a penny. So I mean, we're not talking about huge dollars here, and yet it's a thing for the firemen. And actually, there have been a couple of them that have talked about possibly staying if this thing passes and so on. I mean, it could be worth, depending on the assessment, it could be worth $600-700 to some people, which is better than the $200 they're getting now. And if we can ever get the combined legislation, and that's the other thing that we're working on at the state level, so the firemen can take the $200 income tax plus the 10%, then you're up there $800-900, and that would be something maybe to recruit and retain, people and so on. So stay tuned. I'm not encouraging firemen to go to the January meeting of the school board just because I think they need a chance to discuss it. But if it turns out that they just can't see their way clear to it, after that point, I would be happy to. I will be there at that January meeting, and I would be happy to go to the February meeting, we'll see where we are with it. But I'm just hopeful. So if any of you have ins with school board members and would like encouraging all boards to do that, and give them a quick call and tell them, and there is significant support. We just need 4. But as you know, one of the members is a member of the Rouses Point Fire Department now and can't vote. So we need 4 out of 6, not 4 out of 7. So anyway.
Well, it's that local law, when we vote on it, when after the public hearing, there's 2 of us right here that can't vote.
Can't vote on it. Well, at least you'll have 3, right? So
I hope.
okay.
You may not be here.
I'm gonna put that on. I won't be here at the next meeting for sure.
He's gonna have to be here if you wanna vote.
Yes, it
You're
is.
gonna have to wait and do it for the,
Then I vote as mayor, as a tie. I'll put a little journal.
I already put you down as a yes based upon the last time I was here, so, which just reminds me, this is my 6th meeting, 6 month, that I've been here. Is that enough for you guys? Do you need me less? Do you need me more? I mean, is that, I made every other month. This is my
Unless you
6th.
got
What?
something that makes us feel good.
Okay,
You
well,
know, I know.
I always enjoy coming. This is my old, having been on a trustee and a mayor here, I certainly enjoy coming here. So, not that I don't enjoy going to the town. All right, let me just make a last comment here on Laurentian. I don't know how many of you have been reading about it, but it was described to me as potentially another Wyeth Heiress coming into the community. When you look at the expansion that they've had overseas in Dubai and what they do, they were starting off with about 250, 300 jobs, but easily get to 900 or 1,000, and that's with the buildings we have. I mean, they save planes hundreds and airlines hundreds of thousands of dollars. They do in 3 days what everybody else takes 5, and they do it with this laser computer thing that they're teaching people how to use down at BOCES. And it's fantastic, and the ancillary stuff that's going to come off of there, you're going to see a factory that makes skin for planes and parts for things that normally would go wrong because it's an inspection process and it's also a cleaning process. And it's the way the airlines are now, and if any of you tried to book flights, you know that it's expensive. They can save 40% of their overhead on this particular item alone. So it's fantastic. And it was one of those things that when I voted, and we spent $250,000 of Clinton County taxpayers' money on that institute down there. And it was more than the people that were trained. We've got 30 to 40 people now that can do the job. But it was a commitment that Laurentian took and said, these people really want us to come here. But had they never come, I would have been sitting here not talking about the 250,000 we wasted. But I felt it was the right thing to do. Some people had said it's a rabbit hole, you're gonna throw it, you're never gonna get it back and so on, but it worked out for us. And, you know, the income alone will be in the neighborhood, plus landing fees of almost $250,000 a year for the county. So I think it was a very good investment in terms of the future. But Laurentian it's a panacea for being immune from the other types of recessionary trends that are going on in the country. We've been fairly immune up here anyway, but this will be, and those are good jobs. I mean, I remember way back in Brian's era there when I used to, young people would come out and I'd say, look, I said, you need to go to college. And they'd say, Mr. M, I can go over here to Wyatt and with overtime, I can make 35 grand. I was making 25 at the time. I'm sitting there saying, you're right, don't go to college. I mean, this is a good thing, you go ahead. And Wyatt had great jobs, you know, and Laurentian's gonna be in the same situation. So it's really a great thing for the county. So that's all I have, Mr. Mayor, thank you.
Thank you very much, and I
Okay.
want to personally thank you for the volunteer firemen and ambulance workers. Bill, I know you put a lot of effort into that area.
Well, I want to see it work, and I will be happy. And
That
I
is
will-
definite.
I will accept it, but I want that school board piece, and I think we can get it, and,
I think if you get northeastern Clinton, you're gonna see the rest of the county
well,
fall
that,
in.
unfortunately, that is exactly what I've been told by the rest of the county, that, but it also can work in reverse. And so, but if we can get our piece here, and you guys managed to get something in the paper, you're the only municipality that has. I've been after Mr. Otempio down there, but he has not done anything, but if the school board votes in January to do this, I hope there's a banner headline, which then is a call out to every other area in the county to say, it's time you got, and the firemen are gonna insist upon it. I spoke at the advisor, you were there, I spoke at the advisor meeting, and those guys now know that if you get it up here, they're not gonna rest until,
Yeah.
you know, they get their 10% down
They're all
there.
looking at us.
That's right.
And we're good shape, other than, the only thing left, I think, is the school board.
It is. It is, and but it's the most expensive piece, but still, it's, when you spread it out, and they don't lose the money, you just tax, it's not like they're pulling $14,000 away from the school. It's just, you spread it out in a different way over $26 million, so, you know, but anyway, well, I've got my fingers crossed, George, thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Well, if not, you'll have a chance at the end of the meeting. More minutes of the previous meeting. Of December 6th. You all have copies. Is there any additions or deletions?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of December 6th meeting.
Second.
Moved by trustee Jefferson, seconded by trustee Baker. Is there any discussion? There being no discussion, all those in favor, vote by usual sign of aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried. Bills, you all have copies of the bills. Is there any additions or deletions, Arsen?
We have one addition this evening, Fastenal Company. It's for bolts, cord sets, and cable ties in the amount of $95.80.
Make a motion to pay the bills as amended tonight.
Second that.
Moved by trustee Jefferson, seconded by trustee Roberts. Is there any discussion? There being no discussion, all those in favor, vote by the usual sign of aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried. Correspondence.
And,
Thank you. A report of mayor and the board of trustees. I request 2 executive sessions to discuss contract and other good negotiations.
Okay, I'll put that in form of a motion.
Moved by trustee Jefferson, seconded by trustee Baker. Roll call vote. Trustee Jefferson.
Aye.
Trustee Baker. Aye. Trustee Roberts.
Aye.
And the mayor votes aye. Authorize the clerk to publish legal notice for local law 1 of 2011. Tax exemption for qualified volunteer firefighters and volunteer ambulance workers. And that will be at the January 3rd meeting.
yes,
I'll put that in
that's
form.
fine, because we can go 45 days, 45 days? After 45 days? For voting, yeah, 45 days.
45
We
days.
have to vote, so.
Or to act on that. Right. I'll put that in form of a motion.
Second.
Moved by trustee Jefferson, seconded by trustee Roberts. Is there any discussion? No discussion, all those in favor, vote by the usual sign of aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried. On behalf of trustee Huckrow and myself, I wish the staff, my fellow board members, and the general public a very, very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. As you know, trustee Huckrow had an unfortunate accident, and he is confined to his house. And he asked me to express that. And of course, if you want to give him any ribbon board, you can. That's it for me.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Rivers. The only thing I have on my agenda tonight is, on December 15th, we were at the shared service meeting in Champlain. Trustee Cooper was there, or Councilman Cooper and Trustee Baker were there. And we had, Kim Wales came from Barton and Blue and we discussed a few issues. It took about an hour. I've got a copy of the minutes. I'll pass those around and give them a copy to Carol too, so we can have them. And we're just waiting to see whether, how everything lines up, and we're waiting to see whether we get any money as far as for the upgrades and some of the things that we want to do with the town of Champlain. So that's all I have to report tonight. Thank you.
Yeah, on that note, trustee Jefferson, talked to the gentleman from Parkland, Judas, several times.
Kim Wales.
And you know that there's a big push on the water meters here in this village. And I expressed my serious concerns to him, is that it cannot cost this village penny. We've got too much debt in the waterfront now, and I can't afford to put more debt on that fund.
If we don't get the money back,
We don't get the money,
We're not gonna do it.
we're not doing nothing.
but we still have to go forward with the.
Oh, well, I understand that. I
Yeah, we're gonna
understand that.
have a program that.
But he knows my position.
Yeah, that was good. He said he talked with you and worked a few things out.
Didn't say I didn't want it, just said we can't.
Yeah.
Thank you, trustee Jefferson. Trustee Baker.
Had nothing tonight, Mayor.
Well, thank you, trustee Baker. Trustee Roberts.
I do have one thing to report. Christmas did come to the village a little early. We received a grant for the library in the amount of $2,629. That's one of the numerous grants that Donna has submitted, and we did get approved for that. That's for the library outreach programs such as storytellers, jewelry maker, local library activities. So $2,600 that we didn't have before. So thank you very much, Donna. And that's all I have, sir.
If the board has been reading the reports from that young lady, they're super. If the use of the library has gone up fantastically. And the comments that we're getting back from the general public are super.
The library.
She has done a fantastic job.
The activities are, there's something going on all the time right now.
Reports of others. Carol?
I have nothing. So you're-
Arsen? Brian? Hadn't been you for Harry, we've been out of here in 5 minutes.
It was good information you gave us.
No,
I get that a lot, so.
I'm glad you come. It's good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I just have one quick thing. I attended a meeting this afternoon with the Pfizer Economic Development Committee. They received a grant from the state to U.S. Small Business Association, and they're going to be trying to market the area, what they call the Pfizer area in Canada, so for small businesses. And on the other note, the other thing I have to say is that the new bakery in the village opened up as of today. And I have purchased a few things, and they were absolutely excellent. With that, I need a motion for recess.
So moved.
Second. Moved by trustee Roberts, seconded by trustee Jefferson. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried. 24.
24 minutes.
It's failed.
Thanks, sir.
Yeah,
Harry, many on our.
Thanks, Eric, for coming, doing everything you do.
All right, have a nice holiday.
Thank you.
Hey, George.
The only thing is, you didn't open the meeting back up to the public, though, but when those things come down from the collegiate to sign them, you know, for all that stuff that has to be sent in for that grant, first I have to get them signed to send in as soon as possible. There's a couple things that are coming across,
Yeah.
there's a couple things that are come across your desk, but Tim says as soon as, the faster we get them in,